Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Gregory Wilpert, and I'm coming to you from Berlin, Germany. 5 days after Peru's June 5 presidential runoff vote ended, the country's electoral officials finally announced the official results of the election. Part of the reason for the delay was the close vote, which was exceedingly close, with only 0.23 percentage point difference between the winner, Pedro Pablo Kuczynski, and the loser, Keiko Fujimori. It would seem that the last-minute endorsement for Kuczynski that Veronica Mendoza made, who was the left's candidate for the first round of the election, probably made a difference and prevented the daughter of the former right-wing president Alberto Fujimori from winning the presidency. Kuczynski, however, himself is a right-wing politician. With us to discuss Peru's election result is Francesca Emanuele. Francesca is a Peruvian sociologist, political analyst, columnist, and co-founder of Indaga, a research cooperative based in Madrid, Spain, that works on social and political issues. She joins us from Washington, D.C. Thanks for being on The Real News, Francesca.
Thank you for having me, Gregory.
This was one of the closest elections anywhere. Keiko Fujimori's father had left a legacy of authoritarianism, and people around her have been tied to drug traffickers. Why do you think she almost won the presidency when everyone in Peru had urged voters not to vote for her?
Well, we have to remember that she tried to be a president before, too, and she went to the second round, too. In the last 5 years, she has been campaigning. The whole 5 years were a campaign for her, and she used all the money that she could get to encourage people, especially in rural areas in Peru, to support her, and especially also in the north of Peru. Why people wanted to vote for her is because during the dictatorship of Fujimori, the brains of Peruvians, including even the elite, were brainwashed. We have had a monopoly system in the media that is still there now, and the history about what happened during that dictatorship hasn't been spread through the country, and a lot of people think that dictatorship wasn't that bad. Thankfully, in the last few months, I'm sure that a lot of people got more knowledge about this horrible dictatorship than the knowledge that they got in the last 25 years.
And what do you think can we expect from Pedro Pablo Kuczynski now that he will be president? Also, Fujimori's party, the Popular Force Party, won an absolute majority in the parliament for the first time. So Kuczynski will have to govern with the far right. What do you think will happen now? Will this mean more neoliberalism for Peru, or what do you project to happen with when Kuczynski takes over?
Well, first I would like to say that this victory of Kuczynski was a victory for the left, too. And this is a good side of the story. That means that the left has a presence in the country. And as you said, like 1 week before the elections, Keiko Fujimori, the daughter of the dictator Alberto Fujimori, had an advantage of 5 points over Pedro Pablo Kuczynski, and it was when Veronica Mendoza, the leader of the left, who got the third position in the first round presidential election, encouraged her voters to vote for Pedro Pablo Kuczynski. That was the key issue to change the situation and to give the presidency to Pedro Pablo Kuczynski. So that's a good sign. That means that there's going to be a left that is going to be like pushing, that is going to be in a position. They said that they are going to be vigilant, but the bad part of this situation is that Pedro Pablo Kuczynski is a rich businessman. He is a former Wall Street economist. He worked for the World Bank. And he also has been for many years in politics in Peru. So if we go over some episodes of his biography, we will see that his interests are more close to the interests of multinationals than close to the interests of people. For example, in 1968, he was working in the central bank, and during that time we had a coup, a military coup, but this coup was socialist, or the military coup who was running the country at that time. He claimed himself as a revolutionary, and he expropriated an oil extraction center, and which was in the hands of a company that was called Petroleum International Company. And when Pedro Pablo Kuczynski was in the central bank, he gave $150 million to this company to get the money from the expropriation that they got. But the president at that time didn't give his permission to do that. So Pedro Pablo Kuczynski had to flee the country to the United States. And situations like this has happened more than once. The most shocking and the most recent one is when Pedro Pablo Kuczynski was the advisor of an oil company called Hang Oil, and then he became the finance minister and then the prime minister during the presidency of Alejandro Toledo. And during that time, what he did is give a huge contract to this company, Hang Oil, to export natural gas from Peru to Mexico. But the most shocking thing is that he pushed to change some laws, because the land where they were extracting the oil, the natural gas, was supposed to provide this gas to the Peruvians, to internal consumption and not to exports. But he pushed to change the law. And some experts said that Peru lost $20,000 million because of this contract. So with these issues, we can see that he is a person who is a lobbyist, who wants to just get some contracts. And what probably will happen, because he's calling himself a progressive, but he has been a neoliberal, and what he thinks is that Peruvians should get really basic rights, but those rights that they can get should be managed by private companies. And he will bring a lot of companies to Peru, and most of the contracts or plans or projects that now have been stopped because of protests, especially with mining industry, probably we will see that he's going to push to execute them, and we're going to see more conflict in the rural areas of our country. The good thing is that he said that the water system won't be privatized. That's really good. He also said that he will go against narco-traffic, and it's really interesting to know that his vice president, Mercedes Arauz, he's a historic figure for the APRA party. When the APRA party was running the country during 2000 and 2005, the president gave commutations of sentences more than 3,000 people related with sentences related with narco traffic, and in 400 sentences of those 3,000 were for belong of leader members of narco traffic groups. So it's really interesting that he is related with figures that has connection with narco traffic, and he's saying that he's going to go against narco traffic, it's really likely that he's going to ask for military aid by the U.S. because he has a very good relationship with the U.S. And we know what happened when the U.S. helped and create these plans against drugs, as we could see or can see in Mexico and also Colombia. He also said that he will support the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Sorry.
Sorry, that kind of brings me to my other question. We don't have very much time, so I just want to get it in quickly, which is precisely what the role of the U.S. is in this election, as far as you can tell. I mean, we know that the Obama administration is very much supporting, of course, the new rightward shift in Latin America, particularly Obama being buddies with Macri and not condemning the coup in Brazil. What do you foresee there with U.S. involvement with regard to Peru now that Kuczynski is going to be president?
Well, there's one thing really interesting, and is that during the campaign for the second round of the presidential elections that last 6 weeks, more or less, Pedro Pablo Kuczynski came to the U.S. He was here for 8 days, and he said that he went to visit some areas with Peruvians, but we don't really know if he had meetings with the State Department. That is really likely that he had those, and there's the suspect, or some people think that the U.S. helped him to get the presidency. Yesterday, he said that Venezuela has to get recover democracy, and so in that statement, he's showing where he's gonna be allied with. He's gonna be allied with the U.S. He's gonna be allied with the new governments, like Macri, for example, and he's gonna support this new alliance of right-wing government, and against, in many ways or many aspects, against sovereignty in the region, and that's unfortunate.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but hopefully we can have you on again to talk more about what's going on in Peru, also in the context of the changes in Latin America. Thanks so much, Francesca, for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching the Real News Network.